4 years ago, at the graduation party, a young man held a bouquet of flowers, ready to confess to his crush. But before he could take a step forward, he caught someone secretly filming the girl outside the women's changing room. To protect her, he lost control and seriously injured the stalker. And because of that, he spent the next 4 years in prison. 4 years passed in the blink of an eye. The girl had become a rising dance star. She arrived with flowers in hand to welcome him back to freedom. But the man looked unusually distant, his eyes shimmering with unshed tears. He brushed past her coldly, even knocking the bouquet from her hands without a second glance. He knew she had become a famous dancer while he was now just an ex-convict. He believed he didn't deserve her anymore. So he chose to push her away on purpose. Back home, the girl shut herself in her room, heartbroken. She stared at old photos of the boy, wondering why he had become so cold. Just then, a call from her friends snapped her back. They were shocked by his attitude, too. One friend happened to have the number of the man's closest brother. The moment she heard that, hope returned to her eyes. She immediately dialed the number, asking if he had the man's contact information. But the man was sitting right next to his friend. He silently crushed his cigarette, hung up the call, and continued drinking in silence. His brother secretly texted the girl the location of the bar. She went there alone, but soon a middle-aged man tried to hit on her. At that moment, the young man saw her. One glare from him was enough to make the stranger back off. He pulled her outside and demanded to know what she was doing there. The girl asked if she had been the one he wanted to confess to 4 years ago. He denied it firmly, telling her not to be so narcissistic. She knew he was lying. She stared into his eyes and asked him to say it again. But he avoided her gaze and tried to walk away. The girl stepped in front of him. They stood so close that the boy suddenly froze, nervous. She asked, "If you don't like me, why are you reacting like this?" Still, he denied having feelings for her. She called him stubborn and cowardly. Only then did he admit he used to like her, but quickly added that he no longer did. He said the girls in the bar were all his type, and she was just one of many. The girl stepped back, wounded. She told him she knew he wouldn't admit anything because he had been in prison, but she never cared about that. He turned away and lit another cigarette. Tears welled up in her eyes as she pleaded with him, "I've waited for you for 4 years. Please don't leave me again." He hesitated, then wiped his tears. He asked, "Do you remember the first time we met?" She nodded softly. 4 years ago, they were seated one behind the other in class. His pen stopped working, so he kicked her chair, asking for one. The girl secretly wrote a note to her deskmate. "He looks like trouble. Don't get involved with him." But the boy snatched the note away and read it out loud to the entire class. She was mortified. He pulled her close and asked, "What part of me looks like trouble?" In the warm afternoon sunlight, their story quietly began. After school, the girl got ready to go home. He noticed a blood stain on her skirt. Fearing she'd be embarrassed, he quickly pressed her shoulder, signaling her to sit down. Everyone misunderstood, thinking he was bullying her again. He leaned in and whispered for her not to move, then shooed away the crowd. Once they were gone, he took off his white jacket and gently placed it over her lap before walking away. From that moment on, she saw him differently. Later, during the New Year's performance, her graceful dance captivated him. He had already fallen for her, but his grades were terrible, so he started studying every day after school and even applied to the same university as her. But before graduation, the incident happened, and they disappeared from each other's lives for 4 years. The girl said she never forgot any of their memories. The boy insisted he remembered nothing. She turned to leave, but suddenly looked back and said, "My feelings for you have nothing to do with you." Then she kicked him lightly in the leg and walked away. Her words and her courage finally shook the walls around his heart.